Welcome back with the Spittin' Seeds team. I'm Beeve. We got my guys Beard and Flem here. Got a bunch of stuff to talk to you guys about now that the regular season is done. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet. We got SEC Players of the Year to talk about since everybody else hasn't released theirs. We got conference tournaments coming up we want to talk about leading up to the road to Omaha. A lot of good stuff happening this week. Really looking forward to some of these games, but we really want to break into this discussion on the players of the year for the SEC to start. Flem, go ahead and take it.
Well, you had a kid from Auburn, and then Dylan Cruz as your co-SEC Players of the Year. I know Tennessee fans are probably pretty livid with the selection, with Trey Lipscomb getting snubbed. But at the same time, Sonny D and Dylan are very worthy of the accolade. If you start really breaking down the stats, Trey may have had a better overall year, from start to finish. But as you kind of dig into it, and you kind of just look at SEC splits, he probably is kind of the third wheel in this conversation. Great player. Obviously, his fielding stats are going to be a little bit lower based on where he plays on the infield. Hot corner in the SEC on turf fields, it's a nightmare. Balls will eat you up over there. But at the same time, he held his own on the defensive side, and Cruz is going to be probably a top 5 pick in the Major League Draft next year. And then, man, Sonny can just hit. I watched him in Lindsey Nelson. Had a little bit of rough go around. Struck out quite a bit, but his biggest thing is he gets on base and the kid can just hit. When you're hitting, almost 450 midway through SEC play, it's, I don't know what else you can do to, be a candidate for, SEC Player of the Year.
So I get that the kid gets on base, but one thing that I don't like necessarily is that it doesn't paint the full picture as far as situational baseball. And to me, there was no argument for co-SEC Player of the Year. This was Dylan Cruz all the way out. Look no further than, RBIs alone. You want to talk about truly affecting your team. OBP, what does that mean, though? He's a pretty slow guy. Does that mean he got walked and turned into a double play? Because to me, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't say anything truly about situational ball. Now, if you get into the fact of what they actually meant to their team, then you definitely make that case. What's Auburn without Sonny D?
Yeah, but look at the LSU lineup, man. Look at the pieces that are around Dylan Cruz. You got Trey Morgan, you got Dugas, you got Thompson, you got Barry. Like, that's a deadly lineup. There's a reason why Sonny's numbers aren't going to be as high, is because they pitched around him.
Yeah, to kind of touch on that with Dylan, his numbers improved when it came to SEC play, which is arguably the best conference in the league. So game in and game out, he faced some of the best pitching. I think a big key to this award and kind of getting co-players, which is the first time it's happened since 2004 in the SEC, is the defensive statistics that Beeve touched on. Dylan, 994 on a team that was the worst in the SEC and one of the worst in the country defensively, especially up the middle where he plays. So his ability to kind of nail that defensive setting down up the middle was massive. And then going into SEC play, he didn't make an error. I think he truly kind of got this award this past weekend with what he did at Vanderbilt. They couldn't get him out until the third game, and then as the hit parade started, he joined right back in. And outside of Braden Jobert, he's probably SEC Player of the Week as well. But Jobert hits a grand slam, a 3-run home run, a triple, like 19 total bases or something in the final game of what was looking to be pretty ugly for LSU early on. So I think we all talked about Trey and Sonny pretty much most of the year until towards the end there. And then Dylan kind of burst on the scene, but every number got better when it came to SEC and conference play. I mean, 21 home runs on the year and 16 of them are in conference play in this conference is massive. And, you talked about kind of it being an MVP type award, which I do agree with is kind of what it should be. When you're able to always be there with when Trey was not really playing all that well because of his knee, when Gavin Dugas has missed as much as he's missed, Alex Milazzo really hadn't played all year defensively behind the plate. You got up the middle between Jordan and Cade really struggling defensively. It's massive. He batted 1 through 4 every spot in the lineup. I think he might have found his home at leadoff. Can you imagine jumping on the mound and your first pitch is to Dylan Cruz to start the game? I don't think anybody wants that, and that's tough because in all reality, it's not like you can walk him. You're gonna put him on base and let him because he's fast. He can run. He's 4 for 6 in stolen bases this year. So he presents a real tough challenge for opposing pitchers and staffs to get a game started. You can set a tone against him, or the tone can be set against you with him, and he will hunt first pitch if it's there. So he's really difficult to throw to. I mean, we all know how good he is, but I think he truly got co-SEC Player of the Year after this past weekend, no doubt, because it probably would have been a Trey and Sonny co. I think it was probably going to be co. The way that they did it, it was probably going to be that way, and then he burst onto the scene, so to speak, this past weekend. So,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it seem like I'm disrespecting Sonny D, because what the kid has done has been absolutely astronomical. I mean, if not for the last few weeks, we're talking about, what was it? When was the last time a guy with as many at bats as he has was batting over 400? I mean, stuff like that.
Rafe Rhymes with LSU,
at least in the SEC. I mean, obviously, Ivan Melendez, what he's doing is just, not of this planet. But it's impressive stuff, especially for a guy of his build. So definitely kudos to all three guys, and then especially the two co-players. But I just entirely disagree with having a co-player situation. You need to make a decision. Now, moving on from there, though, as far as coach of the year, pitchers of the year, freshman of the year, all of that stuff, is it any surprise the way that shook out with Dollander, Tony, and Drew Beam?
No.
No.
Maybe you could have made an argument for Chase Burns, but Drew Beam's ERA has been near tops in the nation all year. Chase Burns hasn't been too far behind, but
you had Landon Sims get hurt. You had Hunter Barco get hurt. It's two of the best arms in the SEC right there. They got hurt.
Blake Money was.
Yeah, we don't care about Blake Money.
Jonathan Cannon's probably the next closest, truly, honestly.
Will Sanders, Nolan from Arkansas. Those are your other big arms, but your two biggest ones got hurt.
Yeah.
So, I think Sims been healthy and they use him in like a relief role. I think that's probably your pitcher of the year. But
in Flem, that's a great point. That's something our team has talked about quite a bit on why. I know Landon wanted to be moved to a starting pitching role, but it just didn't make sense to us on why, because we saw how open that rotation could be. For them to be able to use him in two different games over the course of a weekend, that team would just have experienced so much benefit. And you may not be talking about a guy that's putting himself out there too much. I don't know. It's a lot easier to say things sitting back now and watching one of the best pitchers in the game being on the sidelines. So
We also
Either
know,
way, just hope the kid rests up and is able to heal well.
yeah, but you also know what you're going to get based on how the 2021 season shook out. Like, he's been in that role. He was lights out, except for, you know, the little hiccup in Hoover last year. I don't see the need why they needed to go and try to put him in the starting role. I don't.
do look at the staff this year for them.
Yeah, well, apparently it was Landon's decision.
Yeah, I mean,
Which he earned the right, I guess.
He definitely earned it.
But I mean, I know you're coming off a championship and you don't want to expand your, you know, draft status, and I mean, there's money to be made, but I don't know, just from a team. I mean, I guess we're armchair quarterbacking it now, which is easy to do for us since we're sitting here. I just saw him being in that Cops role this year from First State. I mean, that's the way I saw it.
To your point, I mean, you're talking about expanding a role. Major League Baseball, there's not a lot of guys, starting pitchers, who go very long anyway. It's a relief pitcher's game. I mean, it's a bullpen game now.
You're right. It is.
So I think
matchup.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's gonna be. Maybe I could see him being a closer, because that ball is electric. It moves everywhere, and he's kind of got that mentality of a little bit crazy, that you kind of got to have to be in that role. Could be wrong, you know. If we hope he comes back, regardless of what his role is, and because he's gonna pitch in the big leagues. But I don't know. I kind of see him being back into the bullpen, honestly. I mean, you look at the track record. As a starter, gets hurt, can't finish the season, blows the elbow out. As a relief guy, and the previous year, there all year, helps him win a national championship. So we'll see. I don't know what his thoughts are now, if he wants to continue to try and start or work his way back to starting, or be a bullpen guy. We'll see.
I did forget to mention Cannon too in that conversation for pitcher of the year. He had an outstanding.
Yeah, I mentioned Cannon. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they both those dudes for Tennessee were lights out. And you know, it's the first time a Tennessee pitcher's won an award, a SEC Pitcher of the Award, since 2005 with Luke Hochevar. That team went to the World Series. But the biggest stat by Chase that I'm impressed with is 90 strikeouts and 9 walks on the season. That's dumb.
Yes, Tennessee as a team has hit more home runs than walks given up.
68 to 65, which is just absurd.
You'll win some ball games that way.
Yeah,
coach of the year. That's easy.
Yeah, you could have gone with Coach S over at A&M. Quite the turnaround preseason. You know, pick almost dead last in the conference, and you know, win the division. There's definitely an argument to be made there. But yeah, I mean, what Tony's done at Tennessee is, I mean, it's just been incredible.
Do you think the amount of awards that Tennessee's already won kind of played into that SEC Player of the Year at all?
I'd like to know what their criteria was, if it was the season overall or if they were looking more at SEC splits.
That's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of haze there. Because if you're doing by SEC splits, then obviously Dillon is the clear winner. If you're going based on season stats, then it's probably leaning more Trey. And it still makes you wonder how Sonny got involved there either way, if not for just what the individual means to the team as far as like an MVP. So, I mean, definitely the weighting criteria that they have, or if it's just entirely subjective, is a little bit different.
I think fielding percentage played a major role. It had to, because it's SEC Player of the Year. It's funny that they have a pitcher, but they don't have a hitter of the year, because that could be a different – because, you know, say a guy who predominantly DHs, does he win that? Is he even up for the Player of the Year award?
I mean, fielding percentage, is definitely important, but you also need to take position into consideration. I mean, Dylan Cruz played out in the outfield. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, his fielding percentage is always astronomically going to be much better than somebody playing the hot corner. I mean, Sonny's fielding percentage, even for, let's be honest, he's a little bit on the slow side, is pretty solid for being over
Mhm.
there at first. I mean, it's impressive, honestly. So
especially with how much you receive over there at first base.
Yeah.
I just wonder. I don't disagree with you. I just wonder if that played a role in the award as far as trying to define player of the year. If they tried
Yeah.
to, if they took that, because that is the only glaring difference between the two guys who won it and the guy who didn't. That's the biggest difference right there. I mean, Trey's fielding percentage looks like what LSU as a team fielded this year, so that
What I
might have
what I
played into
will
it.
say to that, obviously, I mean, if you have more than one error as an outfielder, you're probably doing something wrong.
Mhm.
That's probably a big red flag. Two, Trey's probably more of a natural shortstop playing third base, so he's got way more range than a normal third baseman would. So he's getting the balls that most third basemen don't get to, and he's putting himself in more of an error-prone situation, so to speak, to where those errors really did kind of add up. I'll be honest, I saw he had 10 errors, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. Obviously, it is because I mean I watched every play this year, and I don't know, that number snuck up on me. And then obviously Sonny at first, his range is pretty limited, so he's not getting the balls that he could have. So he's not putting himself in those same situations that Trey's going to be putting himself into. So
Yeah,
that's what I have to say.
it's probably just SEC play. I have to imagine. I mean, I'm sure regular season matters. You can't hit 100 in the regular season outside of conference play and win that award, but it's got to be all SEC numbers that they really weighted on that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we could talk about that all night. Let's be honest. It's definitely the hot topic for right now, but we do have quite a bit to cover too, as far as in a short amount of time, as far as conference tournaments. So let's go ahead and jump over to some of our picks and what that looks like.
Let's see. Let's
With
start.
ACC. Start with the ACC.
Yeah, start with the ACC, which has by far the most unique conference tournament I've seen, with their pool play for 4 days, and then 4 pool winners play for a chance to play for a conference championship. It'd be hard to pick against Virginia Tech, what they've done all year. Louisville, another one that's going to be a problem. What Notre Dame team shows up, what Georgia Tech team shows up, because both those teams are capable of running away with that tournament. It's just whether or not they want to. I would say that Virginia Tech's probably a national seed regardless. So I don't think the tournament necessarily affects them regardless of how they do. Notre Dame's, I mean, do you think they host at all?
They're borderline.
Yeah. Louisville's in that conversation as well, I would think. Miami, another team that'll probably be a national seed. I doubt the tournament hurts them too bad. Now, let's see so I guess in the pool play they play what, 2 games?
Yeah.
3 games in 4 days.
Yep.
And then so you could go 1-2, so, or you could go 0-3. I don't think that would help you at all if they do play 3. It's kind of hard to read the way this is set up.
You can't go 0-3.
No.
You go 0-2.
Okay, so it's just 0. So it's just 2 and Q tournament. So, I'm going to go. Let's just give me Louisville to win the tournament.
I think the dark horse in this conference is Florida State because they have the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also matched up with Notre Dame and UVA in their pool. So that's by far the hardest pool in the conference tournament. Notre Dame, Virginia, Florida State. That's pretty tough, stiff competition.
Virginia Tech's got the easiest. North Carolina and Clemson.
I don't know. I think I might go with Georgia Tech here. Prada gets hot. They're a sneaky team. They kind of need it.
Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, give me the Jackets.
All right. Beeve, who you got in the ACC, bud?
Man, that
Kiss
is
of death.
a good
Kiss of
question.
death coming
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, buddy. Well, let's just say you do not want to take my picks to the bank. So,
Fade Beaver's picks, folks. Fade them.
who do we not like right now?
Matt's not a big Notre Dame guy.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's
Big Notre
true.
Dame.
That's not a big Notre Dame guy. That's right.
Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think that Virginia Tech's path is the easiest to get there. Flam, what, you took Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Yep.
Beard, you took Louisville?
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville's path might even be easier than Va Tech's.
Now they got to go through my Jackets, dude.
Man, yeah, I probably got to go with Va Tech on this one. I mean, they've been the most consistent hot team in the ACC, arguably outside of Louisville there at the end of the year. I got to stick with the hot hand and go with the favorite, Va Tech.
Sorry, Virginia Tech, about your loss in the ACC tournament.
Yeah. Sorry for going 0-2.
Let's go ahead and knock out the one that is pretty small. Only eight teams, Big Ten. Maryland has been the best team in the Big Ten all year. I don't think it's really been relatively close. Iowa started strong, kind of faded. Purdue the same way, faded.
Michigan was there as well.
Yeah.
Rutgers has been good.
Yeah, Rutgers.
Yeah,
Rutgers
they have
a fairly good season.
They've gotten better. I'm going to go chalk on the Big Ten. Give me Maryland. Give me Maryland to take that tournament and possibly. I mean, they're going to work their way. I mean, they're definitely going to host probably. I don't know about a national seed, but for sure a regional host. So yeah, give me Maryland.
I'm going to go with Rutgers. They're going to be on the other side of the bracket. They have a pretty good offense. Pitching usually wins in postseason, but yeah, give me Rutgers.
Man, Rutgers probably has the hardest path to that right now. I mean, Purdue is a 7 seed in the Big Ten is a little iffy, and then having to turn around and potentially play Iowa and then finally jump up. I mean, yeah, that's pretty tough. But I mean, Maryland's been the only team in the Big Ten that has really shown any semblance of consistency this year. I just don't see how you can't pick Maryland here. I appreciate you trying to sow some seeds there, Flem, but yeah, I gotta go with Maryland. So inevitably, Rutgers is going to win.
There goes my pick. Did y'all see where that tournament is?
No,
Omaha. It's at Charles Schwab.
Yeah.
Omaha.
Actually, I did see that.
So there's the Big Ten will be in Omaha before anybody else. Boy, that's going to be those are going to be some quiet games.
So it might be the only time we're in Omaha this year. So,
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the Big 12. This, I got to be honest, this
crazy.
Outside of the ACE or the SEC, this could be the most wide open tournament that's there.
That's pretty intense because TCU won the regular season Big 12, and they have 3 or 4 teams ranked ahead of them that are in conference. I mean, it's just wild.
1 through 5 are good.
Yeah, that 1 through 5 is solid. Baylor and Oklahoma are the 2 teams that can sneak up on teams. I know Oklahoma's a 3 seed, but they've kind of been back and forth all year, but they will sneak up on you quickly. I don't foresee Kansas State or West Virginia making too much noise, especially with the 2 teams that they have to play to open up. Oklahoma State is going to be a problem because last weekend didn't go well.
Texas.
Yeah. What a game right there.
Buddy.
This is a tough. I'm actually going to go with Texas Tech on this. I think Texas Tech takes the Big 12 championship.
That's who I was going with. Give me the Red Raiders. Patrick Mahomes, baby.
That's pretty quick.
I mean, you got to feel like if you're Texas Tech, you lucked out being number 2 here. I mean, gosh, TCU's path is the number 1 seed is straight up murderer's row. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I mean, shout out to our guys Luke Savage and David Bishop. Best of luck to you guys. You got a tough road there in the conference tournament.
They might play Houston Marill from Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about him.
Be a Chinook off.
That's
we got some at every Big 12 team. Let's be honest.
That's true. So who you got, Beef?
Man, I mean, I don't want to go right along with you guys, but it's hard not to like Texas Tech just because of their path here.
Yeah, I do. I mean, Oklahoma State, Texas in game 1 is brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. I think I got to go Texas Tech here as well.
Well, congratulations to Big 12 champion Kansas State.
Seriously, we got to start keeping tabs.
I've got it. I'm writing it down. So the Pac-12, another kind of smaller conference tournament there. Another conference that, truthfully, 1 through 8 is going to kind of be difficult. They're, the Washingtons and the Cals of the world may not necessarily be your toughest opponents, but I mean, Washington beat Stanford this year, who won the Pac-12. Man, that because you'd want to say Oregon State, but y'all know who I'm going with. UCLA, the Bruins. I'm riding or dying with the Bruins. I have to all year. I've had their back. I've had to fight off many challengers for the Bruins, so I'm gonna stick with them.
From very early.
Oh, from day one. From day one. Not to mention how beautiful those uniforms are.
I feel bad for what I did to Oregon State this last year. I feel bad, but I think you know who I gotta roll with. Yeah, and I'm picking the Beavers to take the Pac-12.
There you go.
See, I don't like how Oregon State and UCLA are on the same side of the bracket. I think, especially after the series they just had, I like Stanford in the top half of that bracket and their path. Give me the Cardinal.
I was going to say Stanford has it's kind of like their football team, right? They just
go about their business and win.
They just go about their business. They don't say a word to nobody.
Yeah.
They rock the same uniforms since,
since
the original days, which I love. They're beautiful uniforms. They just go about their business, man, and they handle it. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it, but go UCLA. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised by many of the teams in the Pac-12 winning this right now, at least in the top 3 for sure. You could even make an argument for Oregon at this point.
I was going to say Oregon could be there too. All right, to the big boys. The big tournament down in Hoover. LSU won their way into a 4 seed with a little bit of help from Kentucky against Auburn, and they got to turn right around and play them for a 4th time in game 1 and winner of that. It's funny how that little matchup there is. The winner of that game who helped LSU get the 4 seed is going to be playing LSU. Your top 4 seeds. There's not much argument there. There's Auburn's done pretty well. Vanderbilt looked like a shell of themselves this weekend. Got Got games starting at 10:30 tomorrow morning, barring any weather that Flem is predicting.
Where's Miss Ruiz from down in Baton Rouge?
yeah, no kidding. If Chris Burke is calling the game, he's going to say that there's no rain coming. It's over. I think a sneaky team in this tournament could be Ole Miss. Bianco always kind of finds a way to get his team ready for Hoover. They could be a problem. If you're Tennessee, you'd like to win this, but in all reality, it doesn't really matter. You'd like to win it to be able to say and continue that pride that you guys have had all year, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I'd hate to pick against my Tigers, but I'm going to do it because it's worked well so far. Give me Texas A&M to win the SEC tournament.
I like that pick. That's who I was going to pick. Because I don't think Tennessee is going to play to win the tournament. They're not going to throw their arms like they should if they're playing to win the tournament. I don't think Tennessee's in it to win it, to be honest with you. I think Arkansas could be in it to win it. I think LSU could be in it to win it. I think Texas A&M could be in it to win it. And the way Texas A&M is playing right now, I like that hot hand. Give me Texas A&M. Dig 'em.
All right, baby. Who's not going to win the SEC tournament?
Obviously, Texas A&M, right? No, I mean, you guys all bring up great points, and in Flem, there's a question there on what do you do. Obviously, if there's any team in the country that has the arms to be able to throw at a potential SEC tournament like this and still be all right, it's Tennessee. I mean, there's just no team is deep in the bullpen like that. Coach making the decision to pitch Tidwell on Wednesday, I think is a big statement for where they want to be. I don't get the feeling like this team is one that will just want to lay down. I mean, Tennessee is definitely the easy and low-hanging fruit here, and I think will be for anybody along the rest of the way, potentially even for the national championship. But, I mean, I really like the way LSU has come on strong here at the end of the year. We were all incredibly high on LSU at the beginning of the year. I mean, I think we all had them as a top 5 team. I mean, we were even debating if LSU was going to be one of the best offensive teams in recent memory.
Little did we know Tennessee was going to steal that.
Little did we know. I'll be honest, if there is a team that I'm probably most confident in outside of Tennessee, just for the sake of being different, I'd probably say LSU. LSU for the SEC championship.
There's the kiss of death, Matt.
Just a way to end a segment. I mean, goodness. It'd be nice to win one. I think they're, like you talk about, I think that's something they want to do. The way the season has kind of gone. I like the way that the rotation has kind of made itself present. Big time pitching from Ty Floyd this weekend against Vanderbilt was a guy that we absolutely needed to do that. I think I told y'all a month and a half ago when he was just throwing fastballs, if that guy could develop a curveball and somewhat of a changeup, he's going to be the guy in the SEC, no doubt. Mikhail Hilliard has been the anchor of the staff. It's been massive to have that guy. Granted, he's 44 years old. He's been at LSU forever. Him and Devin Fontenot, and I love it. I think maybe the biggest piece and change that's been really positive is Blake Money coming out of the pen. If that's where he is working right now, I don't think you change it. I think you piece together the pitching staff after Mikael Hilliard. And if Ty Floyd becomes the guy at number 2, let's roll with it. Raiselman has been outstanding as a freshman, throwing upper 90s, only been outdone by Ben Joyce, who throws harder than any human in history. So, I mean, there's power arms for LSU. You got Paul Gervais at 8'3", coming down the mound at you, throwing low to mid 90s. So they are a team, I think, that kind of wants this tournament more than some other teams that are there, like a Tennessee. It's not that Tennessee doesn't want to win it, but this isn't the goal.
So back on the Tennessee thing, I'm obviously right. I mean, there's guys, even like some of your, one of your LSU guys in Todd Walker claiming that this is the greatest college baseball team ever assembled. I mean, you want to talk about potential kiss of death there. I mean, you can only start talking about something like that if they actually win it. But I think if you're Tennessee, you have to consider really pushing to try to obviously they're going to anyway, but trying to push deep into the SEC tournament, because for a team that's this hot, is there really any benefit to potentially losing that fire by having a little extra time off? I mean, do you lose the feel? Do you lose the touch? And I'd say that's a concern. Obviously, pitching travels, but
good thing is you and Flim and the rest of you crazy Knoxvillians will be there, and Lindsey Nelson to cheer them on at least all the way through it, barring they make it to the Super Regionals. But you're right. I mean, it's rest is good, but can you keep that focus all the way through that time until you have to wait for 3 other teams to come to your house and play? I mean, look at Wright State last year. Came into Knoxville and came in swinging. And that's kind of all it takes is a team to go out there and play with nothing to lose against a team who, got rested up, been great all year, and maybe gets caught sleeping. So it's a catch-22 on that.
I think we just saw that, though. We just saw a team with literally nothing to play for.
Kentucky.
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
In their house in front of 10,000 fans. Tennessee had nothing to play for. Mississippi State was playing for, their seniors. Just kind of rolled over and played dead. I don't know.
Yeah. But they were still playing. There's a big difference between playing and still not having anything to play for and then literally just sitting on the sidelines.
But it's also easy to take a game off. And I don't think Tennessee did that.
Yeah, they definitely did against Kentucky.
I think Arkansas fans are going to be pretty upset with us right now because we really didn't mention them. And
I don't think Arkansas fans will be all that upset. I mean, honestly, they played themselves into their own situation right now, and maybe that plays directly into Arkansas's hand. I don't know. I mean, that team is still ridiculously dangerous. I mean, you're talking about just some world-class baseball players that are on that team. And I'd say that they'd say, great, please don't talk about us. We don't want it. Seriously. Yeah. I mean,
I also feel like some of their big stars just haven't had the year that we thought they were going to have.
Yeah.
Big Game Bob
has not been good at the plate at all this year, which has been ridiculously surprising.
Has been kind of shaky. Battle's been kind of shaky.
Doesn't Slavens lead the team in home runs this year, though?
I believe so. But like he was on a tear last year.
Yeah, he was. They also moved him to the outfield this year as opposed to first base.
I don't know what's going on in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Beef. It's all because you picked Vanderbilt over them to go to the College World Series at the end of the
year. You messing that up, I think, screwed Vandy.
I don't know what you're talking about. don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's none of my 8 teams are going to make it to Omaha. Not a
That's
single.
another team in Vanderbilt, dude. Vanderbilt can get hot. I mean, and they look terrible against LSU, but dude, they have the pitching.
Yeah, I mean
Sure.
they've been top 5 ERA all season. I mean McIlvain is pretty filthy, and I mean they got
Maldonado too.
yeah, and with Carter, that lefty freshman.
I was gonna say, I told Beeve this Sunday or Saturday. The key to that series between LSU and Vandy was the elimination of Enrique. He didn't reach base the entire first game, and when he did,
man.
I mean, he was 41 of 41 on the year so
42.
far in stolen bases, 42.
Yeah.
And in the second game, I think he only got to second, or they turned a double play on him. And then we turned a double play with the ball right back to the pitcher on Sunday, who goes home and then throws out Bradfield at first, which doesn't seem real watching a guy steal home, but that was the key right there. And that guy right there can change a conference tournament for a team that just kind of struggled lately.
Especially in a bigger park like that.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he hits that ball in the gap. It's a inside the park home run, no doubt.
Ironic how I say Enrique and Vandy with the small ball, and it turns into LSU in the long ball.
So speaking on Arkansas, they have 3 guys with 10 or more home runs. Caden Wallace has 10, Braden Webb has 13, and Brady Slavens has 13.
That seems so low for them.
That seems extremely low.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to our fan Reagan, who's gotten us on the Zach Gregory train this year, though.
Kid's a baller.
The master of small ball, man.
Yeah.
But
Robert Moore hitting 236, man. That just seems
that's
insane.
That's
pedestrian.
Yeah,
but you made all defensive first team for the SEC, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, that middle infield at Arkansas is probably the best in the country.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think there's any argument to be made there.
It was between them and Vandy with the best, because going into the weekend series against LSU, I think Vandy led the conference in fielding percentage, but that might have changed after that weekend, because I know it was between them and Arkansas back and forth for best fielding percentage.
That might be true, but you're not going to find a better middle infield in the country. You're just
I don't disagree. Don't disagree.
Definitely not. I mean, I was on the soapbox all year saying Big Hit Bob is the best second baseman in the country. So I guess I gave him the kiss of death too.
Yeah,
we got to go back and see what else you said and see what's come to fruition.
Yeah, Jarrell Ortega would like a word with you. And Jay would like a word with you too.
Yeah,
you talked good about Blake Money, and then he gets hurt. That is
true too. That is
true. Track record here.
You just need to keep Tennessee out your mouth.
I'm wearing an Oregon State shirt right now, so
yeah, be like Flem and avoid him for 2 weeks at number 1.
Yeah. Hey,
I did not do that.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I think that does it for our conference picks. We got them written down. We'll keep an eye on them. Game 1 starts nice and early at 10:30. Hopefully the weather holds off. I haven't looked at it to see if there's possibility of it. They usually do a pretty good job down at Hoover. They're used to playing at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Congratulations to Sonny DeShera and Dylan Cruz, Dolander, Beam, Tony V.
Ben Anderson for Scholar.
Yeah. Well deserved by all the guys, even the guys who were kind of there, like a Trey Lipscomb. That dude's going to be a problem. And who knows, maybe the bat comes really alive in Hoover because of it. It'll be fun to watch. Of course, we have to wait till Wednesday before we see our boys play at any point. So we'll see what happens.
So what's the move for flavor of seed for the tournament?
What's the what?
What's the flavor of seed for the tournament?
Oh, it's Hatch chili.
I'm still spitting on cinnamon toast, baby.
You've eaten every single one they've ever made.
Toast to go through.
It's Hatch chili all the way. That's the best one in my opinion. No question.
All righty, fellas. Well, always good chatting with you guys. We'll have more to say once these games get started.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.